Hello. David, do we have a quorum?
Oh, sorry, you're set, Madam Chair. That's three.
Okay. Okay, good. That's what I thought. All right, good. Good evening. Today is August 23rd, 2021, and it is 5:02 p.m. As a quorum of the committee is in attendance via our video conference, I would like to call to order the meeting of the Central Health Executive Committee. The first item of business is public communication. Do we have anyone who wishes to participate in public communication?
Not for the executive.
Thank you very much, Ysemia. Then we will move on to the agenda for the executive committee. The first item on the agenda, item number 1, approve the minutes of the Central Health Board of Managers Executive Committee meeting June 30th, 2021. Is there a motion?
Go ahead, Dr. Brinson. Dr. Brinson moves that you approve the minutes of the June meeting.
June 30th. Okay, so we have a motion by Manager Brinson. Is there a second?
I second it.
Seconded by Manager Bell. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Any abstaining? Thank you, managers. The motion passes. We will move now to agenda item number 2. Discuss and take appropriate action on the reappointment of Ms. Patricia Trish Young Brown to the Integral Care Board of Trustees. Brianna Yanez will be presenting.
Yeah, so we're requesting that the executive committee recommend to the full board the approval of the reappointment of Ms. Trish Young to the Integral Care Board for another 2-year term. Trish has served as one of the Central Health appointees to the Integral Care Board since 2020. She is currently the Chief Partnership Officer for Design Run Group in Austin, Texas. Her bio with previous experiences is also attached in the packet. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Members, are there any questions at this time? If not, I'll accept a motion. Manager Valadez.
I move that we reappoint Trish Young Brown to the Integral Care Board of Directors.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
Manager Bell seconds. A motion by Manager Valadez, second by Manager Bell. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Any abstaining, same sign. Thank you, managers. The motion passes. We'll now move to agenda item number 3. Receive and discuss an update on plans to return to in-person board and committee meetings beginning September 1st, 2021. Perla Cavazos and Brianna Yanez will be presenting. I will turn it over to them.
Thank you, Chair Greenberg. We drafted a memo and we put it in your board packet. And also we sent an email out to the Board of Managers about a week ago. I'm just going to hit a couple of highlights. I'm not going to go through through everything, but we will be back in person for now, we're planning the Central Health Administrative Offices. And this will begin on September 1st. Our first meeting in person will be September 2nd. We plan to just have a minimum, or I'll say, we recommend only a quorum be present. So 5 managers, including Chair Greenberg, and all others that join remotely. Again, just to practice our COVID precautions. This is what we're recommending. We're also drafting notices to also encourage members of the public to participate remotely. We plan to continue using the Ring Central platform. And as such, for those of you who will be joining the meeting in person, and that will be decided by you, Chair Greenberg, and individual board managers who will be there. We ask that you bring your either a laptop or an iPad or your phone to the meeting. You'll have to be able to log into Ring Central from that device. And this is to ensure that everybody who joins remotely is able to see you and hear you. And it's really important as we go back to the Open Meetings Act that we continue to, even in this hybrid, that the public must be able to see and hear your voice. And if you're meeting in person and you turn off your video, then we would lose quorum. So we're gonna, we're gonna have to just be careful to monitor each other, and David Duncan and Tricia will also be helping us adhere to the Open Meetings Act. Those are the highlights. We will, again, if we have members of the public who are there wishing to speak in person, we will accommodate them. We have set up the room to be socially distant with plexiglass barriers. And we're at this time, we're still researching what we can and cannot do in terms of mask requirements, but at this time we're strongly recommending masks, and we'll have, hand sanitizers and such available. I also have David Duncan, Brianna, and Sandy Simmons and Mike McKinnon that have been part of the team preparing for back to in-person meetings. If there are any questions, we are available to answer.
Thank you, Perla. Manager Bell.
Perla, I want to clarify, or maybe David, anytime you turn your video off, we lose a quorum?
No, not necessarily lose a quorum. If one of the members that's in the boardroom does that, yes, we would lose a quorum. It's like walking out of the room. So under the Open Meetings Act, Section 551, 120.127, all members have to be visible and audible at all times during the meeting. They have to be visible and audible while they're speaking. And in order for a quorum to exist, they must be visible and audible to the public at the location. So those two sections kind of work uncomfortably together. And it's generally interpreted as, if you turn your video off, you've stepped out of the meeting. So the folks that are on the call, that are on the video conference line when we're holding the meeting, if they turn their video off for a second, it doesn't really affect the quorum. But the 5 that are in the room, we're going to need them to keep their video on and at least be, in the frame or visible somewhere.
So David, what that means is if you're present in the room, part of that quorum, then you have to be very careful. And I will need to run a very specific structured meeting, and I will have to slot in time, for instance, a 5-minute break if people need to use facilities, because if they leave the room, right? So we will have a very specific structured meeting, and everybody needs to understand it's not that I like, believe you me, having to control things, but I will have no option.
Correct. And that was one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about at a separate meeting, Sherry, but yes, scheduling some breaks and also dinner if the meeting goes late. Right now, Brianna's talking next about the agenda so far. I think we only have 2 items, but if it gets to be a lengthy meeting, we'll have dinner. And
Carla, why don't you and I schedule something offline where we can get into these weeds? Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Manager Valadez, did you have a question? And then Manager Jones?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to know whether, in light of these circumstances, I know it's going to be difficult, but I don't know how many people have said that they would be amenable to in-person meetings. I know it was going to be dependent on where I am with Gloria, but I would like to suggest, if this has not been thought about, maybe taking turns, alternating people, the 5 or the 6 that are going to be present in the room, so that it's not a hardship for everybody, the same 5 people to be there all the time, month after month. I don't know how long we're going to be in this situation, I don't think it's going to be forever, but I think it's going to be for a long time at least. And I myself would not mind being there in the room, but maybe not every meeting unless I had assurances about my
Understood.
situation. So,
Manager Valadez, I think that's a really good suggestion. I know that Perla and Brianna are working on this, so I will continue that discussion with them offline, but thank you for that very good suggestion. Manager Jones?
Yes, I'm trying to understand, and I'm sure it's a technological question. Why is it that the individuals who are present at central administration have to have their laptops on if indeed this is being televised live?
It has to
Because-
do, David, please go ahead, David.
Sorry, because it's not being televised. That system that's in the room that usually broadcasts it to TCTV will not function with Ring Central. So we can't have both platforms active at the same time. And another issue with that we've done some testing. I went down there and Mike McKinnon and Perla was there and Brianna. And those two systems just won't function together. So if we could show the whole room at one time, we would do that, but we just can't. That system will not accommodate it.
Okay, and thanks, that's helpful. I'm just thinking that might be problematic, particularly as we talk about going to these budget public hearings.
Right,
And
and
we-
we are talking about obtaining some technology or an application that could help us broadcast. But for now, for this first meeting, we're taking a baby step and we're gonna use Ring Central. And we're gonna broadcast the meeting through Ring Central. And of course, it'll be posted to our website. But at future meetings, it's our hope that we will be broadcasting again live on the internet and on the Travis County television.
Will the public hearing on the 2nd be handled this way?
It will be handled as if we were having a Ring Central meeting like we are right now, except 5 board managers will be in one room together at the Central Health offices.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Okay, any other questions? If not, Manager Zuniga, do you have a question?
It kind of goes along with Cynthia. I am a little concerned that when some of us have an exposure and has to go into quarantine, about the last minute kind of making sure we can get someone to cover our spot if we need to go into, like, some of us know a little more intimately about having to go back into quarantine. So I think that might have to be at a last minute. You may be asked, maybe you'll have to ask someone to come in, just so we may need some flexibility around who's in the building and who's at home.
That is an excellent point. I completely understand that too with my current classroom planning. So I completely understand Manager Zuniga. And again, I think that is an excellent addition to Manager Valadez's. So I will get with Perla and Brianna and see what system we can work out, because you both are correct in the potential here. Yes, Manager Zamora.
Hey, Madam Chair. Yeah, I'm 5 minutes away, so if somebody could.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Not really.
Okay. I'm 5 minutes away, and if I needed to replace somebody, I could do it easily.
Thank you, Manager Zamora. Yes, I think something that we may want to do that we've done with our teaching, that I did with teaching last year, is have a buddy, right? Have a buddy who you're already paired with, so that they could come in. In that case, it was step into your teaching. Here it would be step into the board. So we will work on this. Excellent suggestions. Thank you, managers. Manager Valdez, did you have something else? You're on mute.
is there, in fact, a system that is compatible with everything, as opposed to Ring Central?
I think they're looking into that, is what I heard, to see if there's something We won't have it in time for this.
No,
upcoming-
I understand.
I think there are things out there, I believe, but I know that our technology folks are looking into that.
Okay, thank you. And again, I'm down the street also.
Thank you. All right, anything else before we move on to the next item? I'm scanning. If I miss you, shout out. Going once, going twice. Okay, then members, we will move on to agenda item number 4, review and provide input to staff on the prioritization and tentative scheduling of items for consideration at future Central Health Board and committee meetings. Again, I will turn this over to Perla Cavazos and Brianna Yanes.
Yeah, so I'll just briefly go over September and October.
Thank you.
1 second. Can you see this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So September 2nd, which is a Thursday, we'll have our public hearing on the overview of fiscal year 2020 budget and associated tax rate. And then the proposed Central Health and CCC fiscal year 2022 budgets, including related strategic objectives, and the JP Morgan Chase contract amendment and renewal for depository services. And then we have another board meeting on September 9th, which is also a Thursday. Here we will vote on the fiscal year 2022 budget and priorities and tax rate. We'll have August financials, and then we'll have enterprise COVID response update. And the plan is to have this COVID presentation in September, and then we'll reassess the frequency at that time. And then we currently have a hold for an update on Sendero's ACA enrollment. And then we'll move to, for strategic planning, we'll have that on September 8th, which is a Wednesday. We'll have a contractor RFQ update for ETC, an equity focused systems strategic service plan kickoff with consultants, and an introduction of the Chief Medical Officer, including an update on clinical leadership structures, planning, and clinical diversity initiative. And I'll move to October. For October, we have a meeting, an Eastern Crescent strategic planning meeting, receive and discuss updates on ETC service expansion, and for strategic planning, we'll have a service reporting dashboard. And then for the board meeting, we will have a hub vendor contracting data report, hub vendor work plan update, compensation report, organizational chart report, recruiting strategies memo, and an EEOC category report and demographic background, and then review bylaws. Are there any questions?
Thank you. I do not have any members. Are there any questions at this time? I'm trying to look and see. If you have any, just go ahead and speak up, please.
Oh, I also had one more thing.
Okay.
So at a previous meeting, we discussed having the Dell Medical School come back for a presentation. Just wanted to see when you all were thinking of having them back.
Well, I thought they were coming back before we approved the budget. Is that not correct? Somebody help me out here.
Yes.
Mike?
That's
Okay.
what,
Tentatively, we had said in September.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, we need them here.
I
My
can circle back. I can circle back with Minnie over
Okay.
at Dell Medical School.
Circle
And
back with Minnie. My understanding is that Clay Johnson would still be available to
Yes,
present
enough.
to us in this meeting. So yes, we want them there. Yes, absolutely.
and I think,
Yes, Manager Bell. Mhm.
Madam Chair, I think we also wanted a little bit more detail on their budget.
Yes, we did.
Um,
That's why we delayed it, because of their fiscal year, so we could have more detail. And my understanding is that Clay Johnson would be coming back and would be doing that. I know he is available to do that.
Okay.
Yes, Mike.
Yes, and I've since spoken with the dean about this, including coming back in September, as well as the additional detail. So all of that is forthcoming, and have confirmed that, you know, what Chair Greenberg said, which is he's the one that's going to come back and do
Right.
that.
Okay.
I would recommend that it be part of other budget presentations.
Yes, I agree.
As opposed to, you know, having it be a standalone. That way it can all be deliberated at once, or take up separate items at the same time. Either way.
I completely agree. So my response would be as soon as possible and as part of our budget process and in time for our deliberations.
Okay. Thank you.
Manager Valdez, did you have something?
Yes.
Manager Jones.
Mine's going to be real quick. I wanted to submit an agenda item, which is asking that Central Health support the University of Texas as a site for Delta testing, and then maybe facilitate them or support them in their ask for Biden monies when that money is made available. So we can have something in the state of Texas and centrally located it here in Austin. I'd like for the other governmental entities, which is City of Austin and Travis County Commissioners, to also support this. So I'll put it in the form of an ask and submit that. But I just wanted to know if that's something that we could consider, so we could put that on as an agenda item within the short future.
Okay. Manager Valdez, I'm going to ask Perla, could you look into that given the intergovernmental relations aspect with all of those other entities?
Yes.
Thank you.
And that's because since they're already doing just a sampling, we want them to be the full-fledged.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Manager Valdez. So Perla will look into that with the other entities that you've mentioned. Manager Jones.
I just want to revisit the discussion of our board meeting on the 2nd, which is the public hearing, to somehow know that
hold on. I probably need to go back to that agenda item. David, do I need to go back to that agenda item?
Well, it relates to the discussion that Brianna just had with regard to the agenda item, is that I think that as we notify the public, we need to indicate that they will have 5 there and 5 not there, or some kind of indication, so everyone will not be anticipating the full board to be in attendance there.
Right, the full board is 9, correct, David?
Yes, ma'am.
So 5 would be present, at least 5, including me, would be present, and 4 would not. I'm sure we could let the public know so they don't think that people are skipping school. They're going to be virtually present. Got it.
And did we discuss the attendance of the public, how they will they be able to attend in public?
They will have 2 options, is my understanding. We are strongly encouraging them to continue to be virtual given the recent situation with COVID. If they are coming in person, then we will have proper protocols. Is that correct, Perla?
Correct.
And I only keep raising this is because this is a public hearing session,
right,
not like a normal one. So there are going to be a lot of folks perhaps frustrated. Why couldn't have I showed up? No one told me.
They can. They will be notified that they have 2 options. They can show up virtually or they can show up in person. And if they show up in person, then there will be appropriate protocols.
Okay, I just want to emphasize.
Thank you.
I'll work with David to see if we can work that into the notice. We have to publish the notice 7 days in advance of the meeting, and we'll be doing social media advertising, and then we have a community conversation coming up. So there will be opportunities to talk about this.
Thank you. Thank you, Manager Jones. I understand we need to be clear, and thank you, Perla. Yes, we do need to get the word out that there will be 2 options. Okay, anything else on the scheduling of the
Manager Mustaitev.
Manager Mustaitev, did you have something?
Yes, thank you. Going back to the public meeting, is there a possibility of hosting it at a different site, at a larger venue, that we can accommodate as many folks as possible for this meeting?
I have Manager Musaitis, that is a good question, and I myself have asked that question. I understand that staff are still looking into other venues. Is that correct, Parola?
Yes,
So
we are
stay tuned.
researching that.
We'll let you know. We'll let everybody know if there's a change. Staff has been and is continuing to look into other possible larger venues.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, members? All great suggestions. Thank you for your participation. If there's nothing else on item number 4, then I will move to agenda item number 5, which is confirm the next regular executive committee meeting date, time, and location. Managers, our next Central Health Executive Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Thursday, September 9th, 2021 at 5:00 p.m. at the Central Health Administrative Offices, 1111 East Cesar Chavez Street, Austin, Texas, 78702. At this time, I'm ready to accept a motion for adjournment. Manager Valadez?
I move adjournment.
Okay, Manager Jones moves, Bell moves adjournment. Manager Valadez?
Second.
Okay, everybody's right up there in 3 squares together. Okay, so Manager Bell moved adjournment. Manager Valadez seconds it. Yes. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Abstaining, none. Thank you, members. We are adjourned and we will be moving. David, can we move directly into our meeting? Or do we need to wait 2 minutes? It's 5:28.
They're both posted at 5. You can go